to the channel. Today I'm gonna cover a little bit about some of the issues that I've had with my Moment Anamorphic Lens, and what changes or mods I've done to it to be able to compensate for those challenges. So here's the Moment lens that I have. Came in and it was delivered today, and I mounted it straight onto my Mavic 2 Pro, and I noticed that the counterweight was rubbing on the backside of the gimbal. So every time I followed all of their instruction video on how to mount this correctly, made sure that the little lips are fitting properly into the camera, cooling fins and so forth, but the backside was always too close to the the gimbal, and it would just gently rub enough to cause for the gimbal to kind of act a little funky. So double checked, triple checked that I was putting it correctly or incorrectly, and here's what I came up with. So here's what happens with the lens when it is mounted over here. The distance between the backside of the counterweight and the gimbal is way too small, and when you move the camera up and down, the counterweight ends up scrubbing on the backside of the gimbal. So what's supposed to happen, the way they've designed this lens, is, I'll show you. The counterweight has these little foam pads, and these foam pads are supposed to put a little pressure on the backside of the camera to make sure that the counterweight pulls on the lens. So by pulling on the lens, it's the little locking tips have enough force to kind of stay secured onto the lens itself, so it doesn't fall off. It's a pretty simple design. But the problem is it pulls too far this way, but there's nothing to pull the lens forward. I mean, there's not really any foam on the tip of this. It's just a little piece of plastic, right? So here's the way I modded it. You can see there's these little small rubber, or not rubber, foam pads that I added to the edges of the lens. These two little foam pads push enough of a force, or pull enough of the force on this one to compress the little foam pads just a little bit more. So then the gap that's on the backside of the lens increases just enough for it to not rub. I'm going to put this back on really quick and show you how smooth this works. Make sure that the little metallic lips are on the cooling fins. Put it on. A little force lock it. Make sure it's centered. And as you can see, there is no friction. Beforehand, when I first before I modified the lens, I was getting this little silver line on the counterweight because it was transferring some of the metal from the gimbal onto the counterweight. So there you have it. How to fix or improve the fitting of your anamorphic lens onto your Mavic 2 Pro. Happy flying.